Yep.
Lexi Weston. Lexi.
You started that way quicker than I expected, so I wasn't ready. And do you say what's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
I was going to add that's not in here. What's up, guys and girls? Because we didn't want to forget the girls, or I didn't want to forget the girls. And I forgot to do the intro last time, so that's why I put it in the notes to do the intro, so we continue to keep doing it every time, because it's pretty catchy.
Guys is like an overall guys. Hey, guys.
What's up, guys? Oh, I was going to go, what's up, guys and girls? Welcome to this reality on Mixed Realities. I don't even know. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You did as well. Maybe I'll start having you do it instead. We have a challenge, a 3-month challenge. We mentioned it on our last podcast, but I guess we could do a quick updates from the last podcast. Like, I didn't change my challenge. We've been running every day. That's part of our challenge, so
yeah,
we've been continuing that. And then your challenge, I think, was just the same thing because we were preparing for
bigger challenge.
This challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, my challenge originally was to meditate. I still have been meditating every single day. Or writing. I think it's writing. I can't remember, but I'm doing both every day because we have this 90-day challenge going on.
Mm-hmm.
I like the 90.
Just started. We just started 2 days ago.
Today's day number 3 of the 90-day challenge. I feel good.
Well, this is the challenge name is 3 months to life.
3 months to life.
I like it because the purpose of it is to build lifelong habits.
Yeah.
And I guess we keep going. I think we go into it a little deeper about what the challenge is. But I feel like a part of the challenge is not to make it one of those crazy like workout challenges that's focused on like workouts. Because there was the 75-day challenge, which I feel like that challenge and a lot of challenges you see like this, you do the challenge, but then half the stuff you do during the challenge you don't actually continue to do.
But yeah.
I feel like this challenge will help us and anyone who follows along with it after this actually maintain those things within your life after it's done. Some might be a little different, but
yeah.
I guess what do you want to get out of this challenge? Because I feel like
you start a challenge. Rut, like not waking up on time and expecting more out of myself, but not doing it. And then I was literally writing the day before you asked or mentioned it about how I need to do a challenge or commit to a diet or commit to a goal for a couple months or weeks because it usually just allows me to grow in that period of time. Like when you're in a deficit or when you're in a growing period.
We did a month challenge of not drinking before and we felt really good. But then after that month, we continued to drink.
Yeah, but I think it's a mix of staying consistent for a long period of time. You always get something good out of doing that, whether it's working out or anything. Consistent for a period of time, you always get something good.
I'm looking at the rules right here. That's what I took a picture of it because we were going to forget the thing down there. So if you're going to follow along, this isn't the exact thing. We've added some things, but we'll create a post of like all the rules so people that can look back and join. But it's 90 days. Actually, I think instead of 90 days, it's 3 months because every month
yeah,
different. The reason why I chose 3 months is because this challenge ends exactly on the 22nd of November, which is my birthday. So rule number 1. Sorry, there's Lila's right here. She's biting her nails. She's out there. Rule number 1, no alcohol for 90 days. So 3 months of no alcohol. And then I go into my birthday. So that's going to be fun. No eating out. You have to cook all your foods or prepare them yourself. No processed sugars.
Candy.
Snacks.
Well, oh my God. Not snacks.
Just like think
processed sugar.
Yeah, just any sugar thing.
Processed, yeah.
Read 10 pages a day or write 2 pages a day in your journal. That's why I feel like this is like more of like setting, because realistically, some people just don't have enough time to read and journal, like have an in-depth journal session, because that's asking a lot of you.
Yeah.
On top of working out 7 days a week, 2 of which could be just going up and walking around and like going on a long walk instead of like a hard workout. High water intake. Our goal is to do 4 bottles, which is 1.2 liters. Our bottles, so that's a little over a gallon a day.
Easy.
Yeah, so 4 of those is over a gallon. So
Yeah.
honestly, you could just make it a gallon. Remove processed, we kind of remove processed foods, canned tuna and stuff like that.
Oh, we cleared out our kitchen.
We cleared out our
fridge.
like organic, like what was it?
Like
oat milk that had like a bunch of sugars in it, or just
additives. Just got
just
rid of everything.
Get all those the fake stuff out of there, and then this is the good. You get 1 cheat meal a month, so 3 cheat meals total. So
I'm excited because I feel like it's a way to actually.
Or I guess we just put 1 cheat a month. I'm not really sure what that means.
It's the cheat meal.
Cheat meal?
He knows what it means, but I am excited because
She wrote this.
get.
Sorry.
I'm excited because we get to do the challenge and do it for 3 months, and I feel like doing a challenge like this makes you or encourages you, because no one's making us do it, to actually stick to those habits and stick to giving yourself attention in those different ways for 3 months, because after that it'll be habits, instead of like, oh, I forgot to read today, or like wanting to do something or wishing you did it consistently. Your mind's going to be there once you force yourself to do it for 3 months.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited about. Because I feel like after 3 months, it's habit. I already feel like in routine for some of these things. And that's another thing. I've been trying to get my morning routine down packed, because I know morning routines are freaking thriving on the internet right now, but they're very, very, there's a reason why they're very common right now.
Yeah.
Like going out of your way to spend time with yourself in your morning before you start your day is so important.
So I guess what things are you implementing in your morning routine that's consistent? Because I was watching, or I saw this tweet from this guy named Alex Hermosi. If you know anything about marketing, like if you're in that space, you definitely should know who he is.
Yeah.
And he says, like, people is like, you shouldn't have a 28-step morning routine. Like the caption was, you shouldn't have a 28-step morning routine. And then because remember like the post of like a tweet.
Yeah.
The tweet was, I don't make my bed every day because I think it's a waste of time.
Oh yeah. There's some things.
So the reason why I brought that up is like, what is your routine in the morning that you're trying to implement?
So every single day in no order. I just want it to be done. I think not having a specific order for these things make it less like a dark cloud following you around. Like, oh, I messed up. I got to figure it out. Just makes it easier to just have it, whatever. It's not in a certain order. So I have to meditate. Like, I have to sit down and meditate. Doesn't matter which kind of meditation it is. And then I have to either write right now or read. So it's read or write. And then move my body somehow. Take a walk, stretch, touch my toes for 5 minutes. Like literally something movement-wise. Sometimes I don't work out till later in the day. Sometimes I'll do a workout early in the morning. But that's a workout. I can work out in the morning, but sometimes I'm just moving around. So morning walk, sunlight, meditate, and read or write.
That's good. That's a good morning routine. So you're knocking out your journaling in the morning, and you're doing it 2 sessions, like morning kind of stuff.
So sometimes I do. You're really supposed to do 2 pages.
And are you writing about is it kind of like a dream journal in the morning?
So in the morning, sometimes it's either preparation for the day, and then I'll do sections because my notebook's so big right now. So I'll sometimes write about what I meditated about, and then sometimes I'll just try to like write out my day in depth, Or sometimes I'll just reflect, try to set the tone of what I need to work on and what I'm lacking. I actually wrote down writing. I forgot how much writing consistently helps you, because I actually wrote down the other day how I was lacking in certain areas of my life, like personal areas of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time I've told myself that in forever. So it just flicks this, like,
That is true. I guess I just never wrote it down. It was just, and it's kind of nice writing it down, because then it's like the thoughts, I wouldn't say completely leave, but it does leave a little bit where it's instead it's kind of sometimes always nagging at you, like, damn, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. You write it down, it kind of is like you process that thought, you got it out. It's almost like talking to someone.
Yeah. You know? It makes it more real, like when it's out on paper.
I'm just so bad at my handwriting's bad, so I was like, I'm like, and my thoughts are coming out so quickly that my writing can't. So then I start doing it like a half cursive. That's just like, and I'm like, man, I hope I can read this.
I choose to write so neat sometimes.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain handwriting that I really love, and I just choose to write like that sometimes.
My hand starts hurting too.
Oh yeah, my book's like this big right now, and it's.
Oh yeah, your pages are bigger.
My pages are huge.
So that's something you probably should take in consideration. I feel like
some days I do one page if I'm not feeling it, cause it's two.
And like I said, and like we kind of said going on, this is meant for building a habit. So you might it's the minimum is 2 days. So
yeah,
I'm hitting 2 pages, but eventually it's probably going to be I'm doing 2-3 pages easy. You know, and you know it's just all about starting. And so you could start with a small notebook if you want.
Yeah.
And I almost guarantee you by the end of the 90 days, you're going to be graduated to doing more than 2 pages.
And these are all different for each person. Like we have writing and reading as some of ours, but sometimes it could be like spend more time with my kid every single day if we had a kid. You know, the 90 days don't have to be those 90 rules. 90 days of something you really want and plant in your life.
Yeah.
And that's what you do. Easy peasy.
But for people to follow along with our challenge, these rules are your rules.
You can't break these rules or you're going to die.
Well, the kind of the kid thing, I mean, you could just do there's 7 workouts a week. 2 of those could be walking. You'd go on a walk with your kid.
Kiddo walk.
Or you could break your kids to the park. Like today, we went to the park and we've been going to parks and running instead of around our neighborhood. And
such a difference.
Yeah, I like it where you get out of the house and you're able to do a lot more running when it's not up.
Yeah, if you didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's easier running on
when you're not
flatter
going
land.
Yeah, when you're going up a mountain, it's really hard. So you know you do 3 miles on the mountain and you're like dead. You do 3
for the whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just your body's going through different things.
Getting used to it.
Yeah. I guess, and so we don't have to go back into, because we'll do the questions, but I guess we were looking up today the GOP presidential.
Oh, yeah.
Which was, I felt like, a hilarious thing.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I forget. I just found out about this guy before the debate. Vivek. Let me look him up before I.
Vivek. I don't know, but those debates kill me because they wait to do, just like you said, one sentence that is just gonna light the crowd on fire, and it just.
Vivek Ramaswamy or something like that. I think I don't know. I'm probably butchering it because it's just so funny that like there's politicians besides him, Vivek Ramaswamy, who you can tell is not a politician. Kind of like because he's not. This is his first time. Like he's actually answering the questions. Yeah. While you get all the other politicians, they get asked the question.
What about climate change?
And then they just spit an answer they had ready. That's starts with what it is. Like it's like when you're writing an essay and your teacher says repeat the question in your first sentence, and you repeat the question, but then the next 6 paragraphs or sentences are nothing about the question at all. That's what I feel like what a politicians do. Ron DeSantis, what he says.
They asked about climate change, and he's like, well, Biden wasn't sitting on the ocean.
Yeah. I was like, Ron DeSantis is the picture perfect of like a cookie cutter politician that can't answer anything besides like predetermined questions.
Everyone's like, what? What are you talking about?
I was like, man.
And what's the other guy's name who can't talk fast?
Oh, the Rick.
It's like,
Rick, I don't want to say Rick Scott because it's not.
Dude's like, hurry up. He's like, well, I would hurry.
I'm from the South. I speak slow. And then he keeps getting beat before he's answering the questions. Like, bro, you have 30 seconds.
And he's like, haha.
But I actually like him too.
I like him too, yeah.
Because he just felt the most real out of all of them.
I like Vivek a lot.
Yeah, I'm just sick of politicians. I just want to see someone in office that is themselves. And that's what I feel like people gravitated towards Trump, because even though he might have been a shitty person,
yeah,
you knew that was actually how he reacts when he's not on camera. Like, he acts the same way that you talk about on Twitter.
Yeah.
And we've watched Full Send, and they said he's even more savage with his jokes.
Trump?
Yeah, and it not like in a bad, like, not, but like he talks about women, like in like, you know, like just like in a way like, oh, you see that hot girl, like stuff like that. And I feel like that's what the people are missing, and that's why I think you see candidates like Robert Kennedy. He's doing good for the Democrats, even though he's probably not even get on the primary because I doubt the Biden will debate him or give him a chance to debate him. And then you see Vivek Ramaswamy, who is clearly he's a clear Swami, he's a clear number 2.
Yeah.
And if Trump doesn't get through all those charges, or he gets disqualified from the candidate, I could definitely see him pulling up, because he's pulling the same exact cards that Trump pulled when he was elected in 2016. I'm the only. No, Ramaswamy. His thing. He literally said on the debate, "I'm the only one on this stage that is not paid for and brought to you by the corporate, like the lobbyists and whatnot." And that's what Trump said. He's like, "I'm so rich, I can fund my campaign. I don't have to listen to the rich people." And then this is what I think is what's going to happen. If Trump gets through all these charges, he's going to elect him as his VP, because he is kind of already sucking up to him.
I can see that.
And this is what I kind of don't like about him. He's doing what Ron DeSantis was doing, but kind of like on a sense of like too much a little bit. But like, I feel like that's what you have to do with politics. Like like some of the things he said about climate control and whatnot, I'm like, okay, it's not a hoax. Like, I don't believe all the stuff this guy's saying. I just feel like he's more personable than other people. And I feel like we need someone.
Then he said something where I'm gonna go look it up on my phone.
One thing, this wasn't in this debate. He did say something where I thought was really meaningful. He says, when people act like sheep, their politicians will start acting like wolves. And I was like, dang.
Okay.
I was like, that's like, because right now we have so much sheep that will only vote Republican, that will only vote Democrat. And the politicians, they know that. So they don't have to try to get if you're a Democrat, your vote. They're just trying to get some of the independent vote enough to swing things. And right now, I feel like really the independent vote is swinging more towards the Republican side now.
Yeah.
I feel like the Democrats are kind of seeing that, and they kind of made some missteps, I feel like, these past few years with censorship. And it's not even like, I feel like I feel like it's a lot of their supporters.
I'm going to read 10 truths he said. He said this at a debate, and then he said this on Instagram. So, number 1, God is real. Number 2, there are 2 genders. Number 3, human flourishing requires fossil fuels. 4, reverse racism is racism. 5, an open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. 7, nuclear family is the greatest form of the governance known to mankind. 8, capitalism lifts people up from poverty. And 9, there are 3 branches of the U.S. government, not 4. And 10, the U.S. Constitution is the strongest guarantor of the freedoms in the history.
He wrapped those things off so quick. I said rap like he's fucking rapping. But he like...
He didn't stutter.
Didn't stutter once. And it sounds... And
he sounded like he meant every single word right before, during, and after.
And
that's why it was good.
No, yeah. Good for him. And
yeah.
you know... This is why I'm also making the comparison to Trump in 2016. Every Republican was bashing him because he's rising in the polls. And if 2016, every Republican bashed Donald Trump, and he ended up winning. And so the thing is, that's why I'm seeing a lot of parallels between him and Donald Trump and how he's managing his campaign. He's leaning into Trump in a way that he's not like clearly like, you know, cucking over him, like bending his knees, but he's agreeing with a lot of the same stuff, saying like, hey, this wasn't in the debate, but he said something along the lines like, hey, I think, you know, if these, you know, I support Trump and whatnot, but he thinks that, you know, it's a lot of it's politicized, like him going through all this. So like he's playing the Trump card, but he's not playing it to the point where Nick DeSantis played it. And then once he like, got all like thought he got his like his voters switch sides. Now Ron DeSantis is completely bashing Trump and whatnot and like flip flopping, and it's kind of I think hurting him. That's why Ron DeSantis has already fired his campaign manager and got a new one, and I think he thought he was going to get more traction with the Trump supporters. But I think what this guy Vivek Ramaswamy is playing for, he's playing for second. And if Donald Trump doesn't get through all this, he's going to be the top runner of probably being a VP. But if Donald Trump doesn't, he's probably going to be the clear number one. Because he's going to keep...
It's getting a lot more interesting for younger people also, because now people want to be president and want to run for president that actually have personalities and that are actually interesting and you can look to see and connect with. I feel like people are searching for connection and searching for, you know... emotions from you. So I think this is a good turn of events. I like Vivek. I think younger people will like him and older people will like him. And he sparks conversation. Like he says things and he articulates very well and he says very true things, but not in a bad way. Like that number 2 on his list could have been taken badly, but what he said before that and like foreshadowed the 10 things he believes in with is like perfect,
and it's crazy,
way more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, and I feel like it's crazy how he's built this movement, because I really only found out about maybe 2-3 days before the debate, because I haven't really been paying attention after. I mean, I've been paying attention, but I haven't been paying attention enough recently, because sometimes you pay attention too much to it, it's overwhelming.
And you know what was great is when I went on his Instagram and there's a video of him playing tennis and everyone in the comments are eating it up, you know, because they're like, way more than Biden can do. Biden's probably sipping tea on the beach. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, it's funny because even someone who's trying to be the president posting that they're playing tennis is a big deal. Like that, just because how active and young he is. Like, come on. I know. I thought it was so funny. They're like, the ball's not going nowhere. I'm like, oh my gosh. Look at him just be active with this family.
And he's the type of person that I might not agree with half the stuff he says, because half the stuff I know I probably don't agree with, but I know I don't agree on these stances with him. And those are his actual stances. With other politicians, I might not agree with half of what they say, but that's not actually their stance. They just say stuff, and then they get elected. And the one thing I hated when I think it was Mike Pence, and I guess I didn't hate, but Vivek messed up on a good opportunity of dissing Mike Pence here. Mike Pence, I think, said we don't need someone to be learning in office like while they're in there for the first time or something like that. Like we don't need someone learning on the job. And I was like, you were just the vice president of a president who never was in politics ever. And now you're running for politics. And another thing that kind of for president, another thing, Chris Christie, I feel like he's been running for president every 4 years for the past like 2-3 decades. Like he needs to give up at this point.
Maybe that's all he's about, just running every year.
I don't know. I'm not a big Chris Christie fan because I feel like I'm not a big fan of any politician. If you look at my track record of who I support, it's always the outsider who's not a politician. And then they normally get swamped. But for some reason, these like outsider politicians normally always came from the Democrat side, but now they're coming from the Republican side. And I feel like he's like the Andrew Yang. I don't know if you know who Andrew Yang is, of the Republican Party for this, presidential election. But what are your thoughts?
Oh, I've said all my thoughts.
That's all your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have any more. I've never really followed the debates like a lot of people or a lot of younger people. I never really was intrigued by them when I was young. I also didn't grow up around people that had opinions on politics like you did. So it was almost like a foreign thing until a couple of years ago. But now it's very interesting because now you see how their effects, or what the effect of our president does, and actually caring about it. And now that's why I'm like, it's so much more interesting because you sit there and you're not watching a 90-year-old man talk and just sound stupid. There's actually things happening in the world that they have to talk about, gender, stuff like that. That's a huge thing for him to say.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? People are starting to keep up with it. Now gender matters and equality matters, and like everyone's starting to get into it. That's why I feel like younger people and like even people of I'm 25, people of my age that didn't grow up in politics will now start, but you grew up in politics, now start looking at them differently because now it matters, right? Now I'm not like a blind little kid that didn't talk about it or didn't look at it, but now it's like it's way more intriguing now also.
And for better or worse, I feel like that's what Donald Trump did. Like you either super hated him or you super loved him, and there's people like me in the between, but there's a lot.
Doesn't matter if you liked him or hated him. He had you watching, and that's great for a lot of people.
And that's I feel like the problem with Biden. Like you don't know half the stuff that's going on because he's not talking. He's
I don't know what's going. That's why I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about.
No,
half the time.
I'm like, or when he like exactly you don't, or you just never hear from him, and you like. Is he alive? What is he doing right now?
Yeah.
Like I remember Trump, I feel like always being all over the news. Everything he did was either, praised and or completely
banned.
Yeah, or completely like
praised or banned.
Yeah, like it was either the end of the world for like half the country or the beginning of heaven for the other half.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to touch back on is like I know Robert Kennedy's not the youngest person, but he's super healthy. Have you seen Robert Kennedy without his shirt on? He's jacked.
Yeah.
Him, Vivek, like kind of like a new wave of politician. We need a completely gut all these politicians that have been in office for 10, 20 years. Get rid of them and come up with these new, even if I feel like if you own a business, if you're a Republican or Democrat, or if you're just a person in a walk of life, you are a better politician than half these people. Because I feel like what the biggest power that politicians have is affecting us as people and how we converse with people. Yeah. I feel like a lot of politicians, or a lot of people don't realize that power that politicians have. And I think it's the biggest power because they have the power to divide us and bring us together. And I feel like they can weaponize that. I feel like they do weaponize that to get votes. That's why they talk so bad about each other. Another thing I wanted to touch on is like why I'm so excited for this new cycle of politician is because, for better or worse, I like how our parents' generations, they always complain about our generation. But the reason why we have half these problems with high divorce rates, all the debt in America, half of it's from their generation, if not more. So it's like they're complaining about like our politicians, but like it was like, I feel like we need this new generation of people because our parents and older lived in a way different time. And I feel like the politics are moving so much slower, catching up with us, is because their generation is still running and adapting to these things. While our generation, it's normal. And if we were in office, or people slightly older than us in their 30s and maybe 40s, they would be more quickly to, legalize marijuana. Like, okay, executive order, legalize it federally across the country. And I feel like these old people, they still try to get those conservative old people vote, because there's so many more old people that vote more than young people.
Yeah.
Even though there's more young people. I'm excited. I feel like what the time we're in now is just the product of the clash between the old generation and the new generations. And once we get in 5, maybe 10 years from now, I feel like it's going to be opened up into a more productive, more conversational, less, divisive time for America. Because right now, I just feel like it's so divisive. But I feel like it's also because old people, their views are so much different than ours.
Yeah.
I feel like even the old people who support the younger people's views, they just don't know how to.
Yeah.
What are you doing? All right. Well, our first guest on the podcast
Come on, scoot your ass.
is Lila.
Perfect fit. Perfect fit.
All right, let's go into the questions. So these questions are from Reddit.
Go.
Some of them I edited it myself because they made no sense, or like they weren't as good. But first one. All right, hold on. This one's kind of. Would you rather earn $1 for every step you take, or? Okay, never mind. I forgot the right. Okay, no. Would you rather earn $1 for every step you take, or $100 every 2 hours? Yeah, I'm gonna go every step you take. I run a lot.
Every step. I have high steps.
Yeah, then you have thousands of steps.
My steps are like 12 and over.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm doing the steps. This one's a good one. Okay, if we have to cut that last question out, that was a dud question. God is about to retire, and now it's up to us to elect a new God. Who would you rather be God? A scientist, a politician, or a billionaire?
A politician.
Whoa, after we're bashing politics. What type of politician are we talking about?
Okay, maybe a scientist.
Okay,
this is hard because
let's make
scientists and billionaires.
Let's
that's
make
a
it
bad.
Let's raise the stakes a little bit. It's a
Politics.
random scientist. It's a random. So it could be say we pick politician. It could be Donald Trump as God, or it could be Joe Biden as God. It's random. So if you pick a politician, it could be any politician.
Who's going to be God? Might as well do a scientist.
Yeah, I'd probably pick up.
So you can start building more stuff.
I feel like I'd pick a scientist just because I feel like they understand how the world works a little more already.
Yeah.
So I hope they have a better perspective. You're offered $10 million if you can survive for 3 hours in a room with one of these animals. Which animal would you rather be with? A tiger, a grizzly bear, a hippo, or a gorilla?
Hippo.
That's a trick question because
Hippos, I know they're dangerous.
they cause like the most deaths of humans in Africa and some others.
But I feel like you can get on top of it or something, or like be nice to it. Everything else is coming for you. Tiger,
Gorilla?
grizzly.
I feel like gorilla might be intensely the nicest. Great dang.
Don't like big bears though. 2 hours,
3 hours.
3 hours with a bear. That thing is getting
I
hungry.
feel like you're dead.
Do
either
they
way.
eat before? I'm doing hippo.
If they eat before it, okay, they do eat before.
No, you can't add that. I'm doing hippo. Hippo. Next question.
I want to do a gorilla just because I'm hoping I fall in there and he's like, oh man, you kind of look like me. Like, you have arms, and then he doesn't fuck me up. No. Would you rather make $1 every time you take a step, or $1 million every time you punch your grandma?
God, I might have to punch your grandma.
Why? I mean, it could be anyone's
Oh,
grandma.
I might have to punch some grandmas.
$1 million is a lot. And punching one
Like,
grandma?
Grammy, I will give you some money. Come on.
What if you kill them? They're old.
I might go soft on them. My punches.
No, it doesn't punch. It doesn't
I don't
punch.
have a Sugar Sean punch.
No, it's a shit. Like, you get the...
So you're knocking grandmas out.
You
Do
have
you
to
get
punch as hard as
caught
you
and
can.
go to jail? I don't want to
you
kill
don't get
somebody.
caught. You don't get
All right,
caught.
well, I'm knocking grandmas out. Get in line.
Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Just hitting line
One,
up grandma.
2, 3 million, baby.
Put up a sign like,
Ka-ching,
yeah,
ka-ching,
$10,000
ka-ching.
if you let me punch you, and then you just you have to be 80 years
$5,000 if you let me punch you. 10.
old. Hey, this one's interesting.
Face.
Would you rather be able to teleport for 15 miles in any direction, and you get to choose every day? So 15 miles, you get to or you get the, or you're able to teleport unlimited amount of distances, but the location is somewhere random on land. So let me repeat that. Would you rather teleport 15 miles in any direction every day, or be able to teleport a limited amount of distance, but the location is somewhere random on land? So 15 miles is like to the store and back. So to the store.
I'm going random places.
I was going to think that, but then it's going to be really hard to prepare where you're going to land.
Yeah,
What if you land in Africa?
it might be fun though. Well, fun.
What if you land in the middle of the Ukraine war?
I know. Then you go back.
I guess,
You
yeah.
don't
It's
see it.
unlimited. I guess, yeah. Unlimited.
Instead of going to the grocery every day, 15 miles. There's only so much 15 miles away from our house.
Yeah, but then there you could also land in jail. You could just land everywhere. And then
Then you can just get out.
Dang, but the logistics of that. You land somewhere you can't, you're like, crap. Go. You go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. And what if you just hit? How do you get home?
Then you going home.
And you can't go home. It's random.
Okay, well, if you can't go home, then I'm picking the other one. What
Well,
would I not wanna
you would
go
have to
home?
buy a plane to get home. You're like, ah, shit. Okay, now I gotta find a road.
Okay, well, you just made up all these rules. I'm
It's
going
somewhere
back to
random. That's what random means.
Yeah,
It could
but
be
you
anywhere.
never said you can't go back.
Yeah, it's random.
Now,
so
so when you go to the grocery store, you're allowed to come back. But
you can
when
go
you're,
back.
But when you're at,
So
are you making these rules up?
Look, it's 15 miles. 15 miles. Okay, I'm going to go to the grocery store. It's only 15-mile radius. You can
There and
choose
back.
anywhere you want in that 15-mile radius, and you have 15 miles a day, so you can go boom, boom. Like, you can only go in that. But the unlimited one, you don't choose wherever you go. It's somewhere random. So if you go somewhere you don't like,
Stupid. I'm not going somewhere I don't like.
yeah, no. And then if you want to get out of that, you have to go somewhere else random again.
I'm going 5 miles a day.
13.
Just a trick question.
No, I mean, I would.
Who was gonna pick random? It's a trick question. If you pick random, comment below because we're fighting.
I think the random one's interesting, but it would suck. I don't know. I would probably pick.
You can't do it for
50.
the rest of your life.
The only thing is, like, what if? Okay, I'm in a city. Great. Now let me go to somewhere else. If I don't like the city, I could go take a plane home. Hopefully. All right. Well, I don't even know why I started with the 15 miles, but I'm gonna stick with this 15 miles. I'm with you. Okay, let's go to the next question. This one is the one that I. Oh wait, no, I skipped one. Would you rather know how you die or know when you die?
When?
I think I would rather know when too, because at least I could plan for it.
Because then if I die, like, God forbid, if I die, get hit by a motorcycle, and I know that, do you know my fear of motorcycles? I'd probably mess up the world and how it's gonna go if I know I have a fear of motorcycles.
I'm gonna
I
change.
would never go out.
I'm changing. I would rather know how I die so I can just avoid that.
Nah, I think you don't want to avoid it because then it's like the whole sentence means nothing. The whole would you rather means nothing.
But then,
So why would you want to? Why would you want to know when? And why would you want to know how? Then you'd just be fearful in your life. When you can plan to
What if it's
write it off.
like in 2 years? I'm like, motherfucker.
Fuck.
And then it's like, and then you die in a car accident, like while it's happening, you're like, motherfucker, I could have avoided this.
Nah, I don't think you should avoid. I have like a weird, you can't avoid death. It's like,
true.
that one death movie.
I've definitely cussed some GMO. I don't even have to edit a lot of these cuss words out. These questions have got the most in me. Most out of me. Would you rather fight Mike Tyson in his prime for $1 million, or have to stay in a pool with a great white for 1 hour, but you get a knife and you get $30 million?
What?
So would you rather fight Mike Tyson in his prime for $1 million, or stay in a pool with a great white shark for 1 hour, and you get a knife, and at the end you get $30 million?
The shark.
Yeah.
Why not? You know, stab, go around, stab. Sooner or later. At first, they could be nice, could swim with them, hang out, and then when they turn on you, you got a knife.
Yeah,
He's
but,
way out. Mike Tyson, he's knocking me out.
but that's all he can do is knock you out. The shark could just kill you. And then you're not going to get the money either way.
30 mil. Might as well die than get hit in the face.
I'm going to pick Mike Tyson because
Might as well.
I feel like it's a better, safer bet. Like, I'm just knocks me out. Should be fine. That shark latches onto your arm.
I've always wanted to see a shark up close. Maybe he'd let me swim with him.
Whatever, dude.
I can be a shark whisperer. You have no idea. Boom. Relationship bomb. I'm a shark whisperer.
Lila probably thinks we're crazy just talking to ourselves like this. And then she's
Yeah, she definitely doesn't care.
no, she doesn't understand.
It's like they're just sitting talking to each other up here in a different room. I'll have to join them, mate.
Now, is there anything you want to end the podcast with? We're done with all the questions. Is there anything you want to leave the people with, the viewers?
Do you guys also... No, I'm going to ask a question. I'm just going to say, black is his color. Except for like a dark blue. Like a dark blue black is Weston's color.
You also like light blues on me?
Light blue. Blue and black are really enjoyable. What do I have to leave? I think it's weird how relationships kind of change you sometimes. In a sense of, I used to didn't like pickles. Now I enjoy the whole pickle family. Pickles, cucumbers. What's the last one? Jalapenos.
Do you like jalapenos?
Yeah, sometimes.
That's not even in the pickle family.
And
You like pickle
another
jalapenos.
thing is my boyfriend always rushes things. Like drinking water. Drinking.
Okay, so what she doesn't like is that we're like the water part of this challenge is I chug my waters, try to at least, so that way I don't have to worry about it. Cause
Every time you drink water?
not every time I'm drinking, but like before the podcast, I'm like I'm behind on my water schedule, so I chugged the whole thing because I didn't want to do 2 chugs after this, but also do it partially because I like making things a race, so I'm like
Everything is a race or a battle, and that's why you should work out with your significant other. It helps relieve.
yeah. Today we were just running, and I just could tell Lexi was just having a bad time. She had stopped in our second lap. Like, man, I hate this track.
I was like,
Man, I hate these rocks. We were running on a trail that has a bunch of like small like gravel.
my feet were not getting used to it.
I hate these
I
rocks.
was upset.
Man.
It got to me. It
And
did.
she just stopped. Like,
And then the other day, we were on a different route. Okay, so we are going at a, like, I don't know the right running. We're going at a pace to where you don't have a lot in your tank. This is a pace you're doing maybe 4 miles with, right? I think it was like 10-minute miles.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm running pretty freaking fast, 3 miles in, it's time for a cool down. I'm like, listen, we're cooling down on the way back. We start jogging. And then he starts sprinting.
Not sprinting, but I start going faster because I'm not ready. Like I'm trying to
He
close
doesn't
the
like-
run off with like a good sprint. And I'm going, and then she just stops. She's like, "Man, that's not what we're doing." Man,
This is not what I signed up for. I was literally running in a slow cool down pace, and then I started feeling myself speed up, and then I started seeing your legs go faster, and I was so mad. I'm like, this is not.
and then she gives me like a
not
lecture.
cool
I'm
down.
like, "You have to cool down your body." Like, I'm like, I get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was upset.
But so that's what we kind of went on a tangent. So the reason why we did a little, I saw she wasn't doing too well today. So instead of doing a bunch of laps, we did sprints. I would say we did 100. I wouldn't call them sprints. I would call them runs. So
Yeah.
200 yards, like 100
Yeah.
yards there, 100 yards back. So you have to run 100 yards, 100 yards back, all while the other person is doing like a little circuit of their choosing. They can do push-ups, they can do sit-ups. They just have to be doing something the whole time.
It was so great.
And I felt like that made it not only like more enjoyable because I like knew I had to do like run back,
Mm-hmm.
like to get stopped, but then there's also more team exercise building, stuff that there are a lot of couples.
Team. I really think working out as a couple is like so good for a relationship, though.
Yeah.
I would recommend it to anyone.
And I definitely think changing our running, like going to parks, has definitely made me a little more motivated and makes it a little more fun as well.
Yeah, it does. Always switch it up. I like switching it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting in movement is.
But I think that's the end of this podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you know what we forgot to mention in the beginning of the podcast? Buy stuff from our Etsy store.
Etsy store.
Link will always be in the description. And maybe that's something I don't know if you watch the podcast, of course, but there's automatic things that pop up that say like and subscribe to the podcast. Maybe I should do that.
Link in description.
And comment below anything you guys want us to make. If you want something made of our 3D print, you think it would be a good thing for us to make, comment them below, and then maybe we'll make it.
Let us know.
Peace.
Bye.